Welcome to Drovers TV. I'm John Hamilton.
And I'm Terry Apostle. This is America's Beef Business Source's latest offering.
It was a very big night for the industry recently as the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame honored its 2010 inductees.
A little later, we'll tell you who was recognized, but that's not all you'll see on today's show. Here's what else is coming up.
We talk production cost and cow nutrition.
In Food and Consumer, we'll focus on food safety.
And we'll tell you what you need to know about anaplasmosis.
In northeastern Washington, you can find sunny Okanagan Angus Ranch. That's where Craig Vejraska raises registered Angus cattle while running a commercial cow-calf herd and backgrounding yearlings. He says as production costs rise, he and his family have shifted to alternative feed sources while continuing to focus on the nutritional needs of the cow herd.
Well, we started feeding a lot more byproducts, trying to. We're real conscientious about baling our wheat straws, and we've gone to a total mixed ration as far as feeding the cows, so we know exactly the number of pounds each cow's getting and what it takes to maintain them.
Craig says in the high, dry country where he ranches, a good nutrition program is critical, especially as it affects conception rates.
In our country, our cattle run out on 250,000 acres of unfenced range, and our number one concern always is conception. Without a live calf on the ground, we really don't have a product to sell. So that we work real hard on conception, and in our breeding program, we're extremely conscious of the fact that it all begins with a live calf.
In our last webcast, we told you a little bit about the Cattle Feeders Hall of Fame.
The Hall recently named its 2010 inductees, the late Kenny Monfort and H.C. Ladd Hitch. Following his father's footsteps, Kenny Monfort built a small family farm near Greenlee, Colorado, into a cattle feeding and beef packing empire. Kenny foresaw that linking feeding and meat packing could build efficiencies into the system and spread financial risk while potentially improving product quality for consumers.
After beginning to ranch and farm in Oklahoma during the 1880s, Ladd Hitch launched the family feeding business in 1953. Ladd noticed ranchers were shipping calves to Arizona for finishing at a feed yard that imported its grain from Texas and Oklahoma. He convinced his father feeding cattle could be done successfully on the high plains. The operation quickly grew, and today Hitch Enterprises operates 3 feed yards with capacity for 160,000 head and also includes ranching, farming, a 15,000 sow pork operation, and other businesses.
You can read more about both of these inductees in the July issue of Drovers.
This year, the Hall also introduced a new Industry Leadership Award to honor the contributions of non-cattle feeders to the industry. Before he retired from the Texas Cattle Feeders Association in 2006, Dr. Richard McDonald served as Executive Vice President, Executive Director, and President and CEO.
Rob Aukerman is president of U.S. operations for Elanco Animal Health. He recently spoke with Drovers' Greg Henderson about some of his company's priorities.
I think, Greg, that the thing that we primarily want to stay focused on is what we traditionally have done to add value to the industry, which is really primarily products that improve animal health as well as production efficiency. And then also look for new ways to add value. And we've got a couple of new projects that I'd like to talk to you about.
Rob goes on to say that Elanco recently launched 2 new initiatives outside of its traditional focus on animal health products, food safety and knowledge solutions.
Food safety. Obviously there's no silver bullet as it relates to reducing foodborne pathogens in the processing and packing chain. There's no silver bullet there. So there are multiple interventions that have taken place in the past, and that is our approach. We want to have a complete line of products that will help reduce pathogens all the way from the farm gate to the plate. And we're getting ready to launch 2 new products here in the beef sector. One is a pre-harvest product that reduces E. coli 01517, and then we also have a carcass wash that reduces both E. coli and salmonella. And then in the knowledge solutions area, this is an effort for us to add value beyond product and to take data, the data that exists in all of our producer operations and processing plants, and turn that data into knowledge so that our producers and packers and processors can make better decisions on how to improve the efficiency of their operations.
Finally, Rob says everyone in agriculture needs to recognize the importance of their work and making food production more efficient.
We are part of supplying food to a hungry world. That's what we're about. That's ultimately all of us that are involved in this industry is supplying healthy, nutritious, affordable food to a hungry world, and we need to stay focused on that bigger picture.
Anaplasmosis is a costly disease in cattle and a growing concern among veterinarians and producers. In this week's Animal Health segment, we talked to Dr. Denny Hausman, a technical services veterinarian from Alpharma Animal Health. Listen as he outlines the causes of the disease, its impact on the cow herd, and its economic costs.
Anaplasmosis is caused by a rickettsia called Anaplasma marginale. The organism lives in the red blood cells of cattle and some other species. It's been estimated that a single clinical case of anaplasmosis will cost the producer about $400 per case, and it costs the U.S. cattle industry about $400 million per year. The clinical signs of anaplasmosis would include fever, icterus, jaundice, some reproductive losses, and of course mortality. Younger cattle may show no signs of clinical anaplasmosis, and older cattle may show some mortality which could approach 50 to 60%.
Dr. Hausman says vectors such as ticks can spread anaplasmosis, as can mechanical methods such as dehorning or castrating with contaminated tools. However, there are steps producers can take to prevent the disease and minimize its cost on their herds.
There are several things that producers can do to manage the disease, which would include working with the veterinarian to design a program that helps minimize the losses from this particular disease. And it's important to involve your local veterinarian because many producers are not aware of the insidious cost of anaplasmosis. In a recent NOM survey, it's shown that almost half of the producers are unaware of the anaplasmosis as a disease, in spite of the fact that it's been diagnosed in all of the 48 contiguous states in the U.S.
We want to thank Dr. Hausman along with all who shared their thoughts with us today.
Do you have an interesting story idea you'd like to see on Drovers TV? Let us know by commenting below this player. We look forward to hearing from you.
And we'll be back again in 2 weeks with even more great industry news you've come to expect from Drovers TV.
Have a great 2 weeks, and we'll see you then.